made it all the way from Brazil just for you. Thank you.
Hey guys. So today I'm going to talk about the disruptive tech trends. And I'm Reinaldo, I'm an entrepreneur. I've had 6 companies in several countries. I live in San Francisco now. I'm Brazilian, as you can see by my accent. By the way, there's a big Lebanese community in Brazil, about 10 million people, that I didn't know that was so big. And in the last year, I'm talking about a lot with companies and entrepreneurs from emerging countries about what's going on in the world, what's changing. And I just wrote those 2 books, one about Silicon Valley culture and one about innovation. This one is available for free in the innovation2.co if you want to download it. The other ones are in Portuguese and Spanish only. So let's cut to the chase. So the first thing that people don't understand about the new world is about the exponential growth of tech. What's that? Well, linear growth is when you count 1 to 10 and go 1, 2, 3, 5 until 10. In exponential growth, if you start with 2, you count 10 steps, you go to 248, you go to 1024. So that's how tech works. Computing power is doubling every year. Just in the last 50 years, a chip inside your computers became 1 billion times more powerful. And that number is disputable. Some people say it's much more than that. That's a very conservative assumption. So 1 billion times more powerful in 50 years. Think about what's going to happen in the next decade or 2. It will be probably around the same number in 10 or 20 years. Computers are evolving much faster. And games are a good way to show how this computing power evolves. In the upper left corner, you see a game, an adventure game in 1976. It was just text. In 96, you see a game, there's Lara Croft from Tomb Raider. It's looking good. And in 2014, it's something very realistic. This is actually an image from the game. It's not a computer image generated by like a Pixar movie or anything. It's in-game footage. So in 40 years, you came from text to that. So think about the impact of the computer power in all areas of expertise. It will go to every area known to man. Besides that, the cost has plummeted. So in 1980, 35 years ago, 1 gigabyte of storage, about 500 photos, cost $200,000, right? If you want to store 500 photos that you take on your phones, it's about $205,000. And today, it's about 3 cents of a dollar. And actually, you can start a Dropbox account or a Google account for free. And they give you 15 gigabytes for free. So 2 things happen. The computing power went up dramatically, and the cost went down dramatically. And you can see that by a simple example that everyone can relate to, SD cards, right? In 2005, you bought an SD card of 128 megabytes, and now it's 2 terabytes, 10,000 times bigger for the same amount of money. So it costs about $100-something today. Well, because of that, we powered the tech companies in a way that was not foreseen before. Facebook, as you know, they own WhatsApp and Instagram. Everybody knows Facebook, and everybody uses one of these 3 properties every day, I'm sure. They control now 2 billion people every day. 2 billion people passes throughout the Facebook platforms, Instagram, Facebook Messenger, and WhatsApp, every single day. That's the exponential growth of a company that was founded in 2004. Imagine if you are a retailer and somehow you have 2 billion people going to your stores every day. That doesn't happen. In the digital world, that happens. So in terms of financial performance, these 5 companies, Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Google, and Microsoft, which are the 5 platforms that power the internet today, the digital world today, they are worth now $2 trillion. Just to have an idea what that is, all the companies in Brazil and Russia combined are worth less than $1 trillion. So just these 5 tech companies are twice bigger than all the companies listed in the stock exchange of Brazil and Russia. Okay? And people say, well, there is a bubble in Silicon Valley, these companies don't make money. I mean, some people talk about that today. And that's true in the first 5-10 years, but that's not true in the long term. Because on technology, you aim for the long term. These 5 companies, just the 5 of them, they make more than $500 billion in revenue every year. They have $400 billion in cash in the bank to spend, no debt at all. And they make $80 billion in profit every year. Apple, for instance, let me pass it. Apple, for instance, is now bigger than 5 American icons. Chrysler, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Disney, and Nike combined. You can put any metric that you want, revenue, profit, market cap. Apple is bigger than all these 5 at the same time. And look at what happened. In 2009, Apple made $43 billion in revenue. This year, Apple made $56 billion in profit. Okay? So in just 6 years, Apple now makes more profit than they made in revenue 6 years ago. So that's how things are changing. And my point on this is, because of that, because technology is going to all the industries, these companies are now investing in everything, from autonomous vehicles to biotech to virtual reality to drones and etc. So my advice to you, if you are a big company or if you are a company, you need to embrace tech. If you are a startup, you are starting the right area, because that's how the world is going to look like in 20 years. Everything will be tech related. So in terms of tech trends that are happening right now, which are important to know, there's some mosquito here with me. The first tech trend that's obvious, but a lot of people don't know yet, is the cloud, right? Cloud is basically a huge warehouse full of computers that you can use to do stuff for you. Right now, it's free to start a company. You can start any company using Amazon or Google, and they give you some space and some computing power for free. And one great example of the use of cloud computing is Netflix. Netflix is now 36% of the traffic of the US alone, just Netflix. They represent 36% of the internet traffic, and they bankrupted a lot of companies, including Blockbuster and other small video rental stores. So it's pretty amazing what you can do with the cloud. Another thing that everybody knows here are smartphones. It's not the future, it's the present. WhatsApp, for instance, WhatsApp sends more messages, actually 50% more messages this year than all the operators in the world combined, okay? Just WhatsApp, a company that was founded in 2009. This is amazing because the operators are losing a lot of money on SMS because of WhatsApp. And now WhatsApp has phone calls and some videos, and imagine how much revenue the operators are losing because of one startup that was started in 2009, okay? So this picture, I like it because it shows how many products were replaced by a modern smartphone. You know, with the launch of the iPhone in 2007, we replaced almost everything: cameras, video games, alarm clocks, notes, calculators, etc. There are more than 500 products replaced by a smartphone, and most of these industries are industries not related to technology, which is pretty amazing. Smartphones are also revolutionizing banking in emerging countries. This is M-Pesa. It's kind of a bank on your phone, used in Kenya, because most people there don't have bank accounts. They use smartphones to send money. So if you are a startup, I mean, you need to think mobile first. The world is mobile right now, even on emerging countries. And if you're not thinking about mobile, you are doing it wrong. If you're a big company, make sure all your services work on mobile first. Mobile is the new PC. And this mobile revolution is allowing companies to thrive. Companies like Uber, right? You have Uber here in Lebanon, I'm using it. Uber is now worth $62.5 billion. It was founded in 2009. And it's part of what we call the sharing economy. Sharing economy is when we use resources of other people and connect people. So in the case of Uber, you have your own car, you put your car to rent, and people who want a ride connect you throughout the app. Uber is growing like crazy. I believe they will be bigger than Facebook in 5 years. So this was only possible because Apple invented the iPhone in 2007 and Google launched the Android in 2008. There are other companies. Airbnb, I don't know if you guys know, but it's the largest hospitality company in the world. It's now worth $25 billion, started in 2008 in Silicon Valley as well, in San Francisco. You can rent a home from anyone, and they have more than 1.2 million listings. It's more than all the rooms that Hilton or Marriott have in the whole world. So again, they are the largest hospitality company in the world. They do not have any property. So they just connect people and they make a cut on the transaction. In San Francisco, there's a company that I use a lot called Instacart. Basically, they are a supermarket which does not own any inventory. So you basically, you order something from your app, someone is at the store like this guy, and this guy basically buys your stuff and delivers to you using his own car in 1 or 2 hours. This company is already worth $2 billion. So my point here is, I think anyone starting a company right now should think about this kind of model of sharing economy, even for big companies, because it's becoming the norm now. Everybody, because of smartphones, are using companies like those, and they are growing immensely in the last years. One more. So, wearables. I'm here using Apple Watch, and the next 5-10 years, most devices in the world will connect to the internet. Actually, it's predicted that 75 billion devices will be connected to the internet in the next 5 years. This will boom. In the US, a lot of people have this thermostat from Google. It's a company Google bought called Nest. Basically, you can control the temperature of your home from your smartphone. If you're arriving home, it sets the temperature automatically using the GPS on your phone, and it helps you a lot to save money on your energy bill. Actually, the energy companies do not like Nest very much because it's making them lose a lot of money. So this is one example of one company in one area that's challenging utilities for their dollars. Then it comes the possibility of using connected devices on cities. In the US, the utility companies, the energy companies, they use already smart meters. So it's basically a SIM card inside a meter. You do not have people going on and checking how much energy you consumed. They basically send it automatically. In Korea, there's a city that was built, a smart city that was built in South Korea, that has sensors for predicting gas leaks or energy leaks or water leaks. And basically when that happens, they send automatically a message to someone with a smartphone that's nearby. So I think cities would benefit a lot from the Internet of Things, and that's a phenomenon that's just starting in the last years. I think in the next 5-10 years, that will be huge anywhere in the world. Then we have the virtual reality platform. Virtual reality, in my opinion, will be the next smartphone, the next 5 to 10 years. The difference between virtual reality and the other one, which is augmented reality, is that on virtual reality, you put these glasses and you generate an image 100%, the image 100% generated by a computer. So for instance, if I'm using this Oculus, which is owned by Facebook, by the way, and I look at you, I won't see you. You just see a word generated by a computer. But augmented reality, there is a camera in the glass. So if I look at you with an augmented reality glass, like this one from Microsoft, I see you, and I can have an overlay generated by a computer. So it's like the Terminator or Robocop. I can see you, and I will see the profiles on social media, for instance, for each one appearing in my vision. The thing is, these things are very bulky. They will be launched commercially next year only, so it will be the first year of virtual reality or augmented reality for the average customer. But in 10 years, they will be reduced to the size of a glass, or even in 20 years, the size of a contact lens. So I think if you are an entrepreneur and if you're not thinking about virtual reality, you should think again, because this will be huge in the next 10 years. There's also, of course, 3D printing, which everyone knows from that. It's a printer that prints plastic. You can generate anything on a computer and it prints that for you. But actually, 3D printing is much more powerful than that. You have a lot of stuff. For instance, shoes that are already 3D printed. These are industrial 3D printers. You have gears, for instance, the next one, like this one. In many kind of metals. You have jewelry, which is pretty amazing. You can 3D print now jewelry in gold, in bronze, in platinum, in silver, a lot of materials. You can 3D print, let me go back. You can 3D print homes, right? In China, they are 3D printing parts of homes or entire homes. You just design on the computer in a huge machine the size of this room, print blocks like that. And 2 months ago in the US, it was approved by the FDA, the first medicine that can be 3D printed. Basically, you are a doctor, and you print the medication right for you, customized for you in the office. So 2 months ago, it was approved in the US. So it's a reality already. It's not something of science fiction. And this is really scary because a lot of things are going on that we don't know, and you should pay a lot of attention to 3D print. It will disrupt construction, industry, manufacturing. Robotics, right? I mean, robots will become very common in your home. This is the Roomba, the vacuum cleaner. It's actually the best-selling robot of all time, more than 10 million sold. And it's just the beginning. There are robots now in construction. This is a robot from a company called Construction Robotics that basically is 40 times more efficient than a human, to construct. They are using that in the US, and it's working really well. It still requires humans to do maintenance and other things, but it's pretty cool. You should see that work. I don't have time to show the video, but you can check on YouTube. And drones, right? I saw a drone flying here today. But actually, drones, in my opinion, will disrupt a lot of industries, including logistics, agriculture, and a lot of other industries. There was a drone launched this week by a Chinese company that manufactures that drone that was flying here over us today. This drone is for agriculture, it's for spraying pesticides in crops. It costs $15,000, much less than a plane, and it can cover like 5 football fields in 12 minutes, which is the amount of charge it gets with one battery. So it's going to change a lot of stuff. And powering the robots is the artificial intelligence, which is basically the capacity of a computer to be smarter or equal than a human, or smarter than a human. We know artificial intelligence by this challenge that IBM ran some time ago. And basically, a computer called Watson won a Jeopardy game from the best human opponents. This was, I think, in 2011, 2012. Since then, artificial intelligence has evolved a lot. And there is a renaissance in the field of artificial intelligence that I think a lot of startups that are here should be thinking about. Artificial intelligence is everywhere, from your assistant, from Siri on the iPhone or Google Now, from a search that you do on Netflix, on Facebook or Google. But this is really interesting. This is actually an article written entirely by artificial intelligence. It's a company called Automated Insights. It's a startup in the US, and they sell this service to Associated Press. Last year, I didn't know that, 500 million articles published without human intervention in the world. Most financial reports that you see are done by artificial intelligence right now, without the need of any human being. So it was entirely written by a computer, which is pretty amazing. I mean, this is very new. And actually, most people will see the results of artificial intelligence in driverless vehicles. In California, in San Francisco, in Mountain View, you can see these cars from Google, from other companies circulating. And it's expected that in less than 5 years, they will be on the streets. And the companies that are ahead of this are Google, Tesla, and Apple. And very soon, Uber as well. Actually, the car manufacturers are very behind, and they are very scared because this could change an entire industry that is worth $1 trillion today. And just to show you how this is working right now, I have a video of myself. Let me see if I can run it. I was driving a Tesla 1 month ago. Tesla has updated their cars with a software that allows the car to drive autonomously on highways 99% of the time. So I went from my home in San Francisco to Google. It's about 65 kilometers without touching the pedals or the wheel. So this is happening right now. So, I mean, when that happens, what's going to happen with the jobs, industry, and etc.? So it's a big question. There will be a big shift from old school economy to a digital economy very soon in all areas of human knowledge. So we found that, we found that people always ask me, and so how can I innovate? What do I need to do? How Lebanon can be even more innovative than today? Well, it's very simple. The first thing for companies and startups is embrace technology as an opportunity and not a threat. I've seen a lot of people, I work with a lot of companies who say, no, this is never going to happen. This won't happen, I won't touch that. And then in 5-10 years, they are disrupted. I think most people here should see technology as an opportunity because there are a lot of opportunities to happen in the next 5-10 years. But I mean, technology will enter all areas of knowledge, from construction to logistics to whatever you think. I mean, it will be a technology industry in the very nearby future. I think some people said that today, but I will repeat again. Ideas are not worth anything today. A lot of people think ideas are worth something, but they are not. This is an electric vehicle, badly executed. It exists for 80 years. It's the golf cart that everybody knows. And this is Tesla, the fastest, the safest, and the coolest car ever done, which is an electric car. The difference between both is execution. It's the same technology. The technology behind them exists for decades. And now someone called Elon Musk executed really well. So when innovating, it's all about execution. Ideas are not worth a lot, actually less than 1%. It's also very important to mix up people. I think you will hear everyone talking about that. Lebanon is a very good example of people from all religions, ethnicities, and from backgrounds, living together. And to have innovation, we have everything, to put this to the next level. You need to mix up people from different backgrounds. I'm, for instance, a Brazilian guy. I've lived in 5 countries. I've run companies. I've raised a lot of money. I sold companies. I failed. So it's a good idea to talk to me, to learn what I've done right or what I've done wrong. And it's a good idea for me to listen to you and understand what I could learn with you, what you are doing right, what you're doing wrong. And this is about a diversity of not the color of your skin or your religion, but your mindset. Put engineers with biologists together. That's so important today. And share knowledge and share networking. As ideas are not worth anything, please share everything that you know, because that's the only way to learn. We are living in an era where knowledge is not important anymore, titles are not important anymore. What's important is how fast you learn. So learning how to learn is the most important thing that I've learned the last years. I don't care anymore if you have a PhD, if you have 20 years experience. I mean, any kid today, 15 years old, can learn about any subject. And that's demonstrated throughout the companies in Silicon Valley that had huge successes without previous experience. Next. Sorry. The business plan. So people from companies will hate me for that, but actually there is no business plan anymore in the digital world. You just need to execute it. You think about something cool, test, work on that. If that works, well, you will make money in the long term. If that doesn't work, you try again. In the digital world, there is no way to predict what's going to happen anymore. So anyone that spends time writing lengthy business plans is out of touch with the modern world. I know that old companies, they have business plans because they need to. But if you are entering the digital world, I mean, you need to execute a trial and error. Believe me, that's the only way to be successful. Another thing that's so important, in most cultures this is not very well accepted, is the tolerance to failure. This is the Lisa computer that was entirely developed by Steve Jobs and his team in 1983. Nobody knows about this computer because it was a huge failure. But 1 year later, Steve Jobs used his learnings from this failure to launch the Macintosh that changed the world. So the point here is nobody likes failure. It sucks for most people. But we can learn with failure. That's the only way to innovate, from failure. So in 10 things that we'll do, expect that 9 of them will be failures and 1 will be successful. So the only way to do that is trial and error, and that's the only way to learn, and to learn with your failures, to have a success. This is the Airbnb logo. I like this example because there is something that people have a different concept, which is not true of Silicon Valley. People think that you go to Silicon Valley and they will throw money at you, you have huge valuations. That's not true. That will happen only if you have traction, so if your company is working, if your business is working. Airbnb, for instance, they started with just $18,000 in investment in 2008. Today they are worth $25 billion, right? And one lesson that I've learned with them is the concept of scarcity, which is the less resources you have, the more creative you will be to solve your problems. Again, I think Lebanon has a great lesson to teach all the world here, because the country has gone through so many problems, so many issues, and it's still a great country, great people, very entrepreneurial, because you didn't have everything like other countries did. And you needed to improvise, you need to adapt, you need to create new things. So I think that's something that you have that most countries in the world don't have, and that's very important to create an entrepreneurial ecosystem. And last but not least, one lesson from here. I mean, I've done startups in China, Brazil, Mexico, and the US. The main difference that I've seen is in emerging countries, we need to survive, so we do a lot of stuff at the same time. So it's like spinning several plates, you know, with your hands, your feet to survive. And in countries that are more mature, like the US, you do one thing really well. So the lesson here is, if you want to be successful in the digital world has space for just 2 or 3 companies each category. You need to do one thing really well. If you want to be global, focus on doing one thing really well. Like Uber, for instance, you know, they do one thing really well. Like Google in the beginning, right? Right now they're making a lot of money so they can diversify, but in the beginning they just did search really well, and it worked. So I would recommend you to focus, to have something called a hyper-focus, which is the main lesson I've learned as a foreigner in Silicon Valley. And that's it. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.